Now to talk about some numbers that we all can agree on.
Let's get to Brian Nizniansky. Yeah. I know you've had all-star weather this week.
You know, conflicting numbers you guys were showing before. These, I think, 100% everybody loves. 72 degrees, forecast high in Milwaukee for today. Yesterday, we had a high temperature of 71 degrees in Milwaukee. I think we're going to be just as warm today, if not even a degree warmer. The record is 73, set back in 2008, so we are going to be close. This is a live look in Milwaukee, 53 degrees, the dew point at 41. Man, this is a fantastic start out there. So that's a change from yesterday, too. Yesterday, you were out the door, still kind of felt like winter, still felt like November. This morning, I think you can get away with a lighter jacket or a sweatshirt when you're out the door. Most spots are in the lower 50s, 51 in Whitewater, 52 in Lake Geneva, 52 in Port Washington. I don't know, I'd be, if I was a kid, Mom, shorts, please.
For sure.
Yeah. Weather headlines, record warmth, incredible stretch of weather. This looks to last all the way through the weekend, courtesy of this area of high pressure down to the south of us. You can see the strong surge of warm air from the western plains starting to really spread across the Midwest here as we take a closer look. No clouds overhead either. I mean, we look great. So future forecast here, let's go through it. As we go through time, let's top it here. Right around the lunch hour, southwest breeze, sunshine. Take your lunch outside. It'll be around 70 degrees. Now, we could get a couple clouds in here later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Very weak frontal boundary passes through, and that will knock our temperatures down a couple degrees on Thursday. Still going to be very warm, and then we bounce back up with a southwest breeze on Friday. Forecast for today, sunny, breezy, and warm, a high of 72. For tonight, a low temperature of 48, partly cloudy and mild. And here is your 7-day forecast. Again, a few degrees cooler on Thursday. Not going to complain about 68, but you can see these numbers in general all warmer than yesterday's forecast. We overachieved yesterday, and again, we're looking at warmer days ahead here. Saturday, 72, Sunday, 72 degrees. Each one of these days really close or right at the record. Chance of showers late Monday, still hanging on to 70, and then this all comes to an end Monday night. Tuesday, back down to 58 degrees. So back to reality next week on Tuesday.
All right. Thanks, Brian, if we have to. Well, we have a look at more of your local races. Here are some key congressional results we want to share with you right now. In the 1st District, incumbent Republican Brian Stile claims victory this morning over Democratic challenger Roger Pollack, winning an election at 61% to Pollack's 39%. And then in the 4th District, Democratic incumbent Gwen Moore, longtime incumbent there, wins the race over Republican opponent Tim Rogers, winning 75% of the vote in her congressional district. And then in the 5th Congressional District, State Senate Majority Leader Republican Scott Fitzgerald has clinched a win over Democrat Tom Palzowitz, so he has a new position going to Congress there, receiving 60% of the vote to Palzowitz's 40%. And in the 6th District, incumbent Republican Glenn Grothman holds on to his congressional seat by beating Democratic challenger Jessica King, receiving 59% of the vote to King's 41%. And Glenn Grothman and Congresswoman Moore will both be joining us here on TMJ4 News Today later this morning.
With many votes still to be counted in major battlegrounds, including our own, the race for the White House continues between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden.
NBC's Tracy Potts reports now from Wilmington, Delaware.
Election results still uncertain the morning after.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
But millions of votes are still being counted this morning in key states: Arizona, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The president falsely claiming victory in states yet to be called.
They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us.
Earlier, Joe Biden urged supporters to be patient.
We're on track to win this election. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted.
Hundreds remained in line in Pennsylvania after polls closed. Around the country, fears of unrest. A removed Trump banner floating over crowds demonstrating at Black Lives Matter Plaza near the White House. Arrests in North Carolina when a political march turned violent. The National Guard on standby in Chicago and Philadelphia. Businesses boarded up.
Political violence will not be tolerated.
America bracing for the worst with the people's choice still unknown.
Now, President Trump also said he'd take this to the U.S. Supreme Court. He believes that states are counting votes that came in after the polls closed. That's not correct. They're counting votes that were mailed or cast before the polls closed. Pennsylvania's governor called the president's comments a partisan attack on his state's election. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Taking a quick break. Keep it here with us on TMJ4 throughout the morning as we continue with our local election updates. Meanwhile, a breakdown of all the results at TMJ4.com.
4:41 now. Big Wednesday morning as we take a look across the country here. Quiet weather. This is what we need. No issues there. We do have a little bit of rain, northern Pacific region, and pretty much quiet elsewhere. And things starting to really moderate as far as our temperatures go across the country, not only here in Wisconsin, but you can see across the Midwest here. Lots of 70s and 60s over towards Detroit. 66 if you have business travel plans down to Chicago, 70 degrees. Indianapolis, 71 over towards the Twin Cities, 72 degrees. Gorgeous weather, especially considering it is November after all. High temperatures across the area, 70 in Waukesha, 68 in Sheboygan, 72 Racine, 72 in Milwaukee. This is near record warmth, and we'll talk about how long it lasts coming up in a few minutes.
All right, we'll certainly check back to hear all about. Thank you. Well, with millions of legitimate votes still to be counted, President Trump falsely claimed in a post on Twitter to an effort to steal the election. Twitter flagged it as disputed and might be misleading.
Around the same time the president put out that message, former Vice President Joe Biden delivered brief but optimistic remarks to supporters in Delaware.
Your patience is commendable.
Biden addressing supporters gathered in their cars in an arena parking lot, declaring, quote, "We're on track to win this election." He said results could be known as early as this morning or perhaps take longer.
And I'm grateful to all of my supporters here in Delaware and all across the nation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And folks, you heard me say it before. Every time I walk out of my grandpa's house up in Scranton, he'd yell, "Joey, keep the faith." And my grandma, when she was alive, yelled, "No, Joey, spread it. Keep the faith, guys. We're going to win this." Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your patience is great.
As we head to break now at 4:44, we're going to take a look once again at some key races in Wisconsin State Legislature. Let's start on the North Shore, Senate District 8. Alberta Darling, longtime incumbent there, facing a well-funded challenge from Democrat Neil Plotkin. And Senator Darling retaining her seat, getting 54% of the vote there. Let's go over to Assembly District 13. Very close race there. The Republican incumbent Rob Hutton against the Democratic challenger Sarah Rodriguez. That's not the race we're looking at. So we're looking at the Vining race. Democrat Robin Vining retaining her seat in the challenge from Republican Bonnie Lee. Lee getting 46% of the vote in that challenge.
All right, let's take a look at Assembly District 23, another tight race against Republican incumbent Jim Ott. Democrat Deb Andraka challenging the longtime state assemblyman and pulling out the win, winning 52% of the vote in Assembly District 23. And then over in Assembly District 63, Republican incumbent Robin Voss against Democratic challenger Joel Jacobson. The speaker winning 58% of the vote in his district against Joel Jacobson's 42%.
.447 on TMJ4 News Today. Welcome back. We are taking a live look from the White House this morning as the race for the White House continues at this hour.
All right, so things are changing minute by minute. Our Charles Benson joins us live now with the very latest with all of his numbers. Charles, good morning.
Good morning. Well, let me show you what's happening across the country. It is the race to 270 electoral votes. No one has gotten there yet. You can see where President Trump is right now at 213 and Joe Biden is at 224. So let's take a look at what's happened in Wisconsin. Wisconsin still has not been called yet, but it is very close race. Look at that. 7,500 fewer votes separate Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It is a very narrow race right now, and there are still some votes that we're waiting to come in. That would be in Brown County. So far, 50% of the county has reported, but we have not seen any numbers come in from Green Bay. Looking at some things on Twitter right now, it looks like those Green Bay numbers could be coming in at any minute right now. And what's interesting to watch, because 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton won the city of Green Bay by about 1,500 votes. So we'll have to see how that changes the vote totals here in Wisconsin. Let me show you a couple other key counties as we zoom into our area, and you can see where the race really came down to. Those big blue counties, Dane County, Milwaukee County, well, that's where you expect the Democrats to do well. Joe Biden did well in Dane County, and he did well in Milwaukee County. The WOW counties out here in Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington, yeah, Donald Trump did well, but he underperformed there in 2 of those counties. And then Racine and Kenosha County, those were pivot counties that President Trump won in 2016, but President Obama won in 22. And that Kenosha County one, I've been fascinated from the beginning because it was the closest county in the state 4 years ago. But right now in Kenosha County, Donald Trump has a pretty good lead. We're still waiting, though, for some votes coming out of the city of Kenosha. Vince and Susan?
And Charles, thank you for that analysis. And you can get live updates on election results right here on TMJ4 News through the morning. Our website is updating constantly as well, tmj4.com. And you can find us on our streaming platforms, too. NBC News projecting right now Democrats will maintain control of the U.S. House of Representatives. Largely expected, Democrats came into the day heavily favored to keep control of that chamber, though they hope to expand their advantage. In the 2018 midterm election, Democrats flipped control of the House, gaining 40 seats. During the 2020 race, Democrats largely focusing their campaigns on protecting the Affordable Care Act and efforts to combat coronavirus. Republicans focusing on the economy. Again, no major changes in the U.S. House. President Trump claimed early this morning that he won the election in remarks from the White House earlier today.
The president appeared frustrated that vote counting was still continuing, which he says would only serve to disenfranchise his supporters. President Trump insisted that states where the votes currently show him ahead should just be called in his favor.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Well, following the president's remarks overnight, Vice President Mike Pence attempted to walk back a little bit on those comments. He told supporters in the East Room of the White House that the administration would remain vigilant